Hey, this is Notser, and today we're taking a look at the Tier 10 German Battleship Preussen. This is introduced in 11.1 as a replacement for the Grosser Kurfürst, which is the original Tier 10 German battleship. Instead of going damage per minute with 12 guns, this is going to go for overmatch with 8. So this build is a refinement on both my Grosser Kurfürst, but also through conversation with my community. This ultimately ended up playing the best out of all the different options, whether it be full secondary, full tank, or some type of hybrid. I chose a hybrid build, and I used the following. Main armament mod 1, lower chance of flood and fire. Aiming system mod 1, faster rudder shift, concealment, better main battery rate of fire. For the commander, incoming fire alert, vigilance, secondary gun range, secondary gun accuracy, emergency repair party, fire prevention, and adrenaline rush. So because I'm running a hybrid build, my main battery is going to be more effective. My secondary battery is going to be less effective in range, but it still gets the accuracy benefit. It still has the 32 millimeters of base penetration. I still get all of the tools that are familiar: adrenaline rush, gun range on the secondaries, vigilance, but I'm just not going all in on the secondary gun range with the slot 3 module. And that is a good compromise, and in fact, it's the one that I would recommend the most because it has the biggest impact on the Preussen's effectiveness. Like, guys, immediately you could choose keeping everything the same, but choosing aiming system mod 1 instead of the secondary gun range, and you would notice almost a night and day difference in the amount of damage you can effectively put out. I mean, I compared and contrasted with my hybrid build with aiming. I could average nearly 200,000 damage per battle, whether it be random, rank, or the dirigible derby. I was completely capable of consistently reaching a much higher potential threshold of damage output. The advantages of this ship are that it has that extra armor that the Grosser Kurfürst has always enjoyed, but the Grosser Kurfürst couldn't enjoy it as much because of the nature of the ship, the number of guns, and the layout and the angle of fire. It was harder for the Grosser Kurfürst to bring the guns online while maintaining good, consistent tank. And that's the other aspect of the Preussen that immediately speaks to me. The fact that I can use this hull that I'm so familiar with more effectively because the gun angles are just slightly improved. I mean, and just slightly, a couple degrees, if that. But it makes a difference. That coupled with rate of fire, that coupled with accuracy, this definitely shines bright. Now, in this game, we've just been trying to damage the enemies that are, trying to tank a little bit, potentially take the base. Anytime the enemies are firing on us, I try and angle back in and rely on that armor. This is the ranges that are most impacted from aiming system mod 1, and this is honestly the range that you get the most out of your armor because the players have a hard time hitting the weak point shots, and your excessive armor is, everywhere, being obviously a Grosser Kurfürst hull. And, for a long time, the Grosser Kurfürst could not do exactly what the Preussen is trying to do. Stay back at medium to long range, engage with your really large gun caliber that can overmatch against targets that are, maybe potentially bow tanking, like, a Petro or a Salem. Very easily can overmatch this. They don't have any issue with that. Enemy North Carolina is still backing up. We didn't quite damage him as much as I would have liked, but we did force him back. Now, I'm going to engage the Montana. My back guns aren't in position. Here is a situation where I give up too much damage here. The Monty front guns get 14. The North Carolina gets another 14. And the Monty has even more damage. When he's firing on me, in that second salvo, I turn away, hoping to cause the shells to bounce harmlessly off the hull, which they exactly do. And it really needs this kind of range in order to see that kind of reward in the armor. And that's one of the things that I think served against the GK. There was just two competing ideas of how the GK needed to be played. Full secondary, full damage per minute, something mirroring a Schlieffen. Or full tank, absorb the shells, maybe do a little bit of excess, but not something that would stand out as a trait that everyone needed. And, you know, for the Grosser Kurve first, it didn't see a lot of competitive play because the gun caliber couldn't overmatch. And quite honestly, in competitive, there's only so many slots that a battleship can take. You kind of need them to do multiple roles. Either it'd be overmatch, or be the best damage per minute, or be the best flanker, or, you know, be the best burst. It has to be the best at something to really be pulled and competitive. And the Grosser Kurve first just wasn't getting pulled. It's enemy Montana, nice and broadside. Should be able to punish him pretty well. Okay, 8K, not too bad. It's still early in the game. The map is cornered pretty well, actually. We've got the enemy on the west side. We're on the east side. We're establishing a good foothold around the islands. The rate of fire on the Preussen is excellent. So you can, like, do a double follow-up shot and maybe, you know, duck into cover, or in this situation, we will hopefully be able to drop off detection so the Monty can't return fire. Pretty much free damage there, and definitely notice, even with the GK, you had to make that choice, whether you wanted to have rate of fire or you wanted to have a bigger gun caliber between the 420 and the 406. Here you've got the overmatch, and you get the rate of fire. The only thing you don't get is the overwhelming damage per minute that could theoretically come from 12 guns. And if you really want that, you can still grab it with the GK. It's great. I love this. And oh, hello there! I did not expect the enemy to be pushed up this much. Enemy Schlieffen is going ham against my friendly. But you know what? I am the defensive German battleship. I should be able to beat the Schlieffen in 1 versus 1. And right off the bat, we land nearly 12,000 on his bow. He returns fire. He does a good job, but my Citadel is much better protected compared to his. I just need my guns reloaded so I can punish again his nose. And we again have our Hydro. And again, look for that nose. And I made a huge mistake. Did you notice the mistake there? I accidentally loaded high explosive in that moment. Completely the wrong thing to do. AP on his nose could have almost led to his downfall. And now we have to wait as AP is being reloaded. But you know what? I might get one more shot off. Oh, we just barely missed out on the chance to kill him. Things like that, incredibly frustrating, because all it comes down to is just a misplay in control. I had every advantage, I just misplayed. But my team did a good job taking the Schlieffen out. We absorbed. We also had Hydro, so the torpedo rush wasn't that big of a deal. You know, all in all, it's okay. But it just neutralizes the advantage that the enemy had. Now we are 2 points, literally 2 points behind. So we need to try and get some more for this game. We did spot 2 DDs mid with hydroacoustic. My Hydro has 30 seconds left. I'm kind of cautiously optimistic that we might get a sight on a DD around the islands. And because of the nature of the islands on Sleeping Giant, I could flash fire 1 salvo, and their torpedoes couldn't return fire. So I'm looking for that potential broadside punishment. While that's happening, there's an enemy Montana that's pushing up. Now I am in this gap. There clearly is something that can detect me, and ooh, did you see that? Hydroacoustic just barely showed that there was some type of DD that may or may not show up right in front of us. So I'm just going to hold my fire. I'm hoping that he shows. We could return fire. We could fire on him. Yes, he is here. He is tiny, though. So we need to make sure we can actually land it. And oh boy, did we land it. 6 shells on the target. And then the secondaries finish him off. I guarantee you, without aiming system mod 1, that exact scenario would not have ended that way. With aiming system, we had enough shells that could assist the secondary damage and actually kill him, similar to that of a GK broadside, right? I was pleasantly surprised by that kind of accuracy to knock him out. It felt really good. I didn't give up anything there, you know. And he certainly didn't harass us. But our teammates are also losing the fight a little bit. We are unfortunately going to show ourselves in front of this object. And we're going to take a couple torpedoes. Now, ideally, I want to take it on my torpedo belt, which we end up doing. I'm going to use my heel. I think a Plymouth is in that smoke using his radar. So that will obviously lead us to hopefully look for a punishment. I'm just trying to watch the smoke. He fires one more time. We're just out of vision of the Montana. The Montana can't see us. And I'm just looking for potentially the best target to fire on. The Monty's still visible, so I decide to pull the trigger on the Monty. We get one shell to hit the target of our back guns. Not exactly what I was hoping for. Monty fires a return salvo. It does 17,000 damage. So I decide, all right, well, we're going to fire with our guns again on the Plymouth. And, of course, again, only one shell for very little amount of damage. But you know what? We're keeping good angle. Our team has good established position. We are down, but we're not out. So enemy Montana, he's trying to angle for the return fire, I would guess. Friendly is sending torpedoes. The Schlieffen knocks out the enemy Plymouth. And I'm looking to fire on the Montana, who clearly has just fired on the Schlieffen. There's a ram that occurs on the south side, southeast side of the map. And I am able to fire very safely at this Montana. He really can't avoid this damage. So I'm just going to just chill here for a second. There is something that could also be near the enemy Montana. And it does seem like the smoke that's being put out is from the enemy DD. So I'm expecting the DD, the Monty, and one other up here. Whereas there's 3 other targets. They're on the other side of the map. And ooh, we get a nice broadside on the Monty. And we get that Citadel. Something that most likely would not have happened if it was the exact same shot in the GK. And that would only be down to the differences in the shell type. Because I'm 457 versus 420 or 406, it's a little bit easier to punch into that Citadel with the infrequency that would come with only 8 guns. It's definitely created bad shots, but overall, this is just better. This is better. Even with less guns, the overmatch, the potential at range, the better angle of fire, it definitely feels better. So let's take stock of what's going on. Enemy has 2 bases, we have 2 bases. They have their aircraft carrier, we don't. Pretty much everything else is a mirror. Someone in it was interested in firing on me from range, so they obviously pulled the trigger when I was moving this way. Friendly is engaging the enemy Grosser Kurfürst, it looks like Megatron. Because he's engaged with him, I'm going to also fire my guns on him, and it looks like the North Carolina is also in this area. Now, we're just hoping for a broadside. Okay. Decent damage. Quite honestly, from this range, I'll take it. We're going to continue this as the back guns are angling to fire forward. And once again, we aim sort of near the waterline, top of the hull. And we're hoping that, yeah, we get some good traversal and the shells disperse into him. And we do not as much, but we're still doing consistent good damage. The hybrid build is for real with this. This is definitely something that the hybrid will feel, whereas if you just play a secondary, you're probably going to look at this game and be like, there is no way I'm going to get a shot salvo like what I'm seeing from some of Notser salvo. And that really is because of that secondary. And that secondary just, you're giving up so much to not improve the gun accuracy. Now we get another little broadside cheeky shot on the GK. Friendly is demanding some assistance, and I would love to give it, so I'm just trying to sail this direction. He's backing up the Georgia. If the Georgia continues to back up, I could potentially fire over this island and punish this guy. Just need to get a little bit of a lead. Don't want to get too much because he is slowly approaching. Get the top of the hull. Oh, just barely alive. He dies. Friendly dies. And all that's left over here is the North Carolina. So we had an even trade for all the effort. I really was trying to keep him alive. Gosh, I was trying so hard. Anyway, since we lost him, the next best thing to do is to deal with the North Carolina. Now, we are actually not spotted by the North Carolina immediately. We were spotted by something else that we couldn't spot. Most likely the DD is close. Now, the North Carolina, he's sailing around the island. I use Hydro just defensively. I don't want to take a random torpedo. It could end me drastically. But in this situation, I'm just going to fire near his front guns, and hopefully he will sail into the shells that will then hit his superstructure. Secondaries are going off. We don't want to show too much side, though. We will have to be very cautious with our angle in order to avoid taking unnecessary damage. Because remember, at this game, they could still easily win. So as I'm approaching, he's got to soften his angle. We're not getting the citadel that I want. He is able to return fire, and now it's pretty much whoever is able to fire one last time will knock the target out. Our front guns are ready to go. We fire, he fires. We're just that much faster, just barely able to take him out before losing our life. And yeah, that was pretty good. 200,000 damage, very tanky. Remember, the citadel protection of the Großer Kurfürst is absolutely here. This hull is the best hull at avoiding HE or AP. Good angling, works well. And I actually was sailing into the dead carcass there, so it was like bouncing the crosshair, and I was like, we do get a citadel. All right, all right. I do need to sail forward a little bit because the enemy, he is pulling back. I just need this body to move out of the way. Once he does, actually, I'll fire on him. The gun range is all right. 20.6, you know, right where you would expect a GK. We do still have the spotting aircraft, so that works really nice to give us enough range. And another citadel, random citadel for super low help. And all that was left was the enemy aircraft carrier. So we're just going to finish him off. We're over 200,000 damage, and this was a close game. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing the Preussen. The build that I'm running is 100% the recommended build, in my opinion. Don't go off of Wargaming's build. Getting concealment on this isn't going to make it better. What's going to make it better is gun accuracy. If you can get gun accuracy up there high enough, every salvo is going to produce damage, and you have high rate of fire, so you're just going to be producing a lot of damage over time. And it works really nice. Really, really nice. With very few compromises. I was surprised that I could run this build and be as effective in all phases. I just have to overcome the slight nerf to secondary gun range. 236,000 damage done, 4 kills, and 4 citadels. The Preussen is a great ship. It just needs the right build to be great. And investing in the guns is the way to go, in my estimation. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. You can also subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/Notser. For more videos similar to this, you could follow me at twitch.tv/Notser for my streaming. Thank you and have a wonderful day.